In a world where your life hangs by a thread, where every move you make could be your last. Welcome to the dark underbelly of Squid Game, a phenomenon that's taken the world by storm. But what if I told you that the horrors depicted in this fictional series pale in comparison to the real-life nightmares faced by millions around the globe? Today, we're diving deep into the shadows, exploring the chilling parallels between Squid Game and the brutal realities that exist just beneath the surface of our society. As we peel back the layers of this cultural sensation, we'll uncover stories that will make your blood run cold. From desperate individuals forced into unthinkable situations to the systemic inequalities that push people to their breaking point, we're about to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about survival, desperation, and the human condition. What price would you be willing to pay for a chance at freedom from debt, poverty, or oppression? Each character has a unique story, a reason why they're willing to risk everything for a chance at a better life. Like Song Ji-hun from the series, Ji-hun turned to illegal gambling in a desperate attempt to escape his financial woes. Her story echoes that of Kang Sae-byok, the North Korean defector in Squid Game. Maria endured years of abuse and exploitation, all in the hope of providing a better future for her family. Her tale is a stark reminder of the sacrifices made by millions of migrant workers around the world, often forced into situations that are no less perilous than the games in the series. To understand this, we need to look at the bigger picture, the systemic inequalities that form the foundation of our global economy. We exist in a system where the rich get richer while the poor struggle to survive. In many industries, workers are pitted against each other in a race to the bottom, forced to accept lower wages and worse conditions just to keep their jobs. This cutthroat competition mirrors the desperation seen in Squid Game, where players are willing to betray and even kill each other for a chance at the prize, where debt can become a life sentence, and where the promise of social mobility often feels like a cruel joke. In the series, the VIPs watch the games with detached amusement, treating human lives as nothing more than entertainment. Just as some characters in Squid Game find moments of humanity and solidarity even in the most brutal circumstances, we see examples of people coming together to resist exploitation and fight for a more just world. These acts of solidarity and resistance remind us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit has the power to persevere and overcome. In our world, we see similar attitudes from those at the top: billionaires who hoard wealth while millions struggle to survive, politicians who play games with people's lives for their own gain. Or will we choose to take action, to fight against the systemic inequalities that create these desperate situations in the first place? The true horror of the series lies not in its fictional violence, but in its reflection of the very real struggles faced by millions around the world. It serves as a wake-up call, forcing us to confront the harsh realities that exist just beneath the surface of our society. It's a world where people are forced to compete against each other for limited resources, much like the contestants in the deadly games. But with awareness, empathy, and action, we can work towards a future where such desperate games are truly nothing more than fiction. The power to change the game is in our hands. What will you do with it? But instead of finding salvation, he only sank deeper into the abyss. His story is just one of many that highlight the crushing weight of economic pressure and the lengths people will go to for a glimmer of hope. Think about the real-life players in this global game of survival: the workers, the migrants, the indebted, the exploited. Consider how you might use your own power and privilege to make a difference, no matter how small. Or we can use this moment as a catalyst for change, a call to action to create a world where no one is forced to play such deadly games just to survive. Like the characters in Squid Game, they're gambling with their lives, betting that the potential rewards will outweigh the risks. We can choose cooperation over competition, compassion over cruelty, and justice over exploitation. The real question is, are we brave enough to make that choice? But for many, this gamble doesn't pay off, leaving them trapped in a cycle of debt that feels impossible to escape. But what's truly terrifying is how closely these fictional narratives mirror real-world situations. These aren't just hypothetical questions for the characters in Squid Game. They read the harsh realities faced by countless individuals every single day. Countries vie for investment, resources, and geopolitical influence, often at the expense of their own citizens' well-being. It's a high-stakes game where the losers face dire consequences, economic collapse, political instability, and human suffering on a massive scale. Entire communities and even nations can find themselves playing a real-life version of Squid Game, but in its reflection of the very real struggles faced by millions. The series serves as a dark mirror, forcing us to confront the harsh realities that exist just beyond our comfortable bubbles. In some parts of the world, children are forced to work in dangerous conditions, risking their lives daily for a pittance. Their stories mirror the heartbreaking plight of Ali Abdul, the Pakistani migrant worker in the series who sacrificed everything for a chance at a better life. But before we plunge into the abyss, ask yourself this: how far would you go to change your life? As we delve deeper into this dark world, we explore the haunting similarities between the games portrayed in the series and the real-life struggles faced by people across the globe. Through these harrowing tales, we'll also discover the indomitable spirit of human resilience. We witness the strength of those who faced unimaginable odds and somehow found the courage to keep fighting. Their stories serve as a stark reminder of the power of hope, even in the darkest of times. We'll hear from those who've been pushed to the brink, forced to make impossible choices just to survive. From crippling debt to social inequality, we examine the forces that drive people to take part in their own real-life versions of Squid Game. Their stories will shock you, move you, and make you question the very fabric of our society. But it's not all doom and gloom. As we navigate through this labyrinth of human suffering and triumph, we also shine a light on the systemic issues that create these desperate situations in the first place. One of the most chilling aspects of Squid Game is the way it portrays the desperation of its participants. Take, for example, the story of Ji-hun, a factory worker from South Korea who found himself trapped in a cycle of debt and despair. Or consider the case of Maria, a single mother from the Philippines who left her children behind to work as a domestic helper in Hong Kong. But it's not just individuals who are caught in this web of desperation. As we explore these real-world parallels, it becomes clear that the true horror of Squid Game lies not in its fictional violence, but what drives people to such extremes. What societal forces create the conditions for these real-life games of survival? In many ways, the world we live in is not so different from the one portrayed in Squid Game. Take, for instance, the global labor market. Or consider the world of higher education, where students take on crushing debt in the hope of securing a better future. Even on a global scale, we see nations competing in their own version of Squid Game. But perhaps the most chilling parallel between Squid Game and our reality is the way in which those in power manipulate and exploit the desperation of others. Yet, amidst all this darkness, there are glimmers of hope. We see workers organizing unions to demand better conditions, communities banding together to support their most vulnerable members, and activists fighting tirelessly for systemic change. As we reach the end of our journey into the dark side of Squid Game, we're left with a sobering realization. But it also offers us a challenge. Will we continue to be passive observers, like the VIPs watching the games from their luxurious perch? The choice is ours. We can choose to ignore the dark realities exposed by Squid Game, to dismiss them as mere fiction. As we close this exploration, I urge you to reflect on what you've learned. Remember, in the game of life, we're all players. But unlike in Squid Game, we have the power to change the rules. The dark side of Squid Game isn't just a fictional narrative. It's a reflection of our world.